The alien realm of Outland is home to many unfamiliar landscapes. From the ashen wastes of Shadowmoon Valley to the arcane debris of Netherstorm, the remnants of the planet Draenor are far different from adventurers' homes on Azeroth. Though even on this strange world, one can recognize when something is amiss. Within the emerald forest of Terokkar, a strange aura can be found permeating the northern region, afflicting wildlife and travelers alike. This detail, small as it may be, catalyzes a mystery within this zone that, when fully uncovered, reveals a horrifying truth. Today, we are taking a look at the secret behind the Cenarian Thicket incident, and its far-reaching effects on Outland and beyond. As always, thank you for your fun comments and support, and with all that being said, let's get right into it. A unique feeling overcomes all who venture near the Cenarian Thicket. The air feels crystalline, coated in a field of energy. Bodies of fallen druids are strewn about, radiating the same odd aura, though the buildings seem nearly untouched. The only creatures still living here are the native Terromoths, now agitated and vicious. Near the entrance to the Cenarian outpost here, Earthbinder Tavgrin can be found, a druid returning here after a trip to the Bone Wastes. Warden Treelos is here as well, the only survivor of whatever happened here, his mind addled and paranoid. Tavgrin is shocked at the blatant attack on the neutral camp of druids and asks for help in uncovering the cause. Bearing the harmful effects of the energy, players venture into the thicket and uncover a curious sight, the body of a single dead broken, nearly clutching a strange, spherical device that looks out of place in this sanctum of nature. Taking some samples from the moths, it also becomes clear this aura is arcane mana, now infusing all living things nearby. Tavgrin suggests seeking out another broken who trades in the area, traveling between the city of Shatrath and the settlement of Turum. After roughing him up a bit, the trader admits to buying parts from a vendor based out of Shatrath. Making a stop near the World's End Tavern introduces you to Wind Trader Lathray, an ethereal dealing in all varieties of goods. One small favor later, the trader is a bit more willing to talk. You know, come to think of it, I do recall selling several strange and exotic parts to Empur about a month ago. I'm not sure what they'd be used for, but I know they were delivered to Turum. Perhaps one or more of those boxes is still there? Turum is far from peaceful. Once a Draenei settlement, it is now overrun with hostile broken and mutated Draenei sympathetic to the Firewing Blood Elves. In your search for the mysterious parts, a Firewing courier tries to stop you. This belongs to Firewing Point. You'll not be putting your grubby hands on it. Returning to the thicket, Tavgrin suggests taking the box of parts to your faction's base camp in Terokkar Forest, where his worst fears are confirmed. These are bomb parts, meaning the strange device that irradiated the druids was a weapon, capable of harnessing arcane energy to deadly effect. After a short conversation with your faction's representative, the next few steps involve scouting the Blood Elves' primary base in the zone, Firewing Point. Here, you can see elven wizards channeling their energy into another device in the courtyard, a second mana bomb. This one is more substantial than the test weapon used at the Cenarian Thicket, and its intended target is one of the faction's strongholds. Fighting inside the citadel at Firewing Point, players can encounter Commander Vol'dun, the overseer of the Mana Bomb project here, in conversation with an image of Pathalion the Calculator. Deal with this quickly, then take the Mana Bomb and destroy their town. Emerging victorious with the final codes for the bomb allows you to detonate it on a timer in the middle of the courtyard, ending the project and eliminating the Blood Elf presence in the entire zone. After celebrating in your faction's base, you decide to let Tavgrin know the Cenarian Thicket has been avenged. Tavgrin is content, but he has some lingering questions. Why would the elves suddenly attack the druids? And what knowledge could Warden Treelos possess locked deep within his mind? Regardless, the mana bomb threat in Terokkar has been taken care of, and the hope is that the weapon would never resurface again. Unfortunately, it was not to be. Visiting the Kirinvar village in the southeast of Netherstorm reveals a similarly devastating scene. The entire settlement has been obliterated by a powerful mana bomb, unnatural beasts now appearing in the aftermath of the blast. Once a secluded village of wizards living on the coast of Draenor, later Outland, they eventually got on the wrong side of the Blood Elves, who have a significant presence in this zone. It seems they took their revenge here, dropping another bomb and dooming the colony. There is conflicting evidence as to whether or not this attack happened before or after the Terokkar questline, but it is stated the Cenarian Thicket bomb is the first of its kind, meaning the elves could have wrapped up their conflict with the wizards using a mana bomb more recently than players might first think. Through your efforts in this zone, the Blood Elf-controlled Tempest Keep is liberated, and the schemes of the Master Engineer Pthalion are brought to an end. This is the last time we see the Blood Elves use a mana bomb in Outland, but it seems the curse of arcane knowledge is not knowing when to quit. No matter how good their intentions may have been, forces of the Horde and the Alliance acquire the plans, or at least the ideas for such weapons, and the question becomes not if they will be used again in the world of Warcraft, but when. I know this can all get a bit heavy, so let's backtrack a bit to some of the details about this whole chain reaction of events, which I think are the most interesting parts of this whole saga. Earthbinder Tavgrin expresses his confusion about why the Blood Elves would suddenly attack the Druids, and if you pay attention throughout the questline and the broader expansion as a whole, the answer becomes clear. It's you. A few levels earlier, on the Hellfire Peninsula, you may have worked with the Cenarian expedition near Fallen Sky Ridge, where a massive red crystal, no, not that crystal, can be found embedded in the earth, corrupting the nearby Colossals. At the climax of this story, it is revealed that Pthalion is responsible for this desecration of the land, corrupting the elementals and causing them to disrupt the Blood Elves' enemies in the region. While you're eventually able to limit this destruction, this angers the Elven leadership greatly. Back at Firewing Point, if you paid attention to the conversation between Vol'dun and Pthalion more closely, you'll uncover this. Prince Kaothas was displeased with the failure of the crystal experiment on Fallen Sky Ridge. This is one of the reasons for why we chose the Cenarian Druids as the testing grounds for the bomb. Perhaps Tavgrin was never told about your success with the Druids in stopping the corrupting crystal, but it is the reason for this terrible situation you find when venturing into Terokkar Forest. This cause and effect is not made obvious, especially if you're hurrying through the quests, but I think knowing this makes the entire story here at the Cenarian Thicket more profound. The Blood Elves would have eventually created the bomb anyway, but you are the reason it happened how it did. There's one more piece of information that just makes this whole scenario even more wild. In the meeting with your faction representative discussing the strange supplies, they have this to say. Yes, as I feared, I believe these are bomb parts. Our eyes and ears in Shatrath City have been feeding us information about some of the ethereals importing prescribed goods from other dimensions that they're in contact with. Now, at the surface, this might not sound like much, but actually think about this. The way in which these destructive mana bombs are created, at least at the start, depended on technology brought over from other dimensions by these ethereal traders. Literal alien technology the Alliance and Horde later adopted as their own. It's been over 15 years since this questline was released, and even now, in Dragonflight, Retail WoW, there are still quests related to these mana bombs. Pretty crazy to think that one of the most destructive weapons on Azeroth didn't even come from it, but from a realm far away due to some shady business between Blood Elves, Broken, and the Ethereals. It can be easy to pass off the Burning Crusade as a there and back again adventure that didn't really affect Azeroth, but those familiar with the lore of Retail WoW know that this storyline set up plots that would have massive ramifications down the line. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.